Good morning, and thank you all for joining us on a great day that has been decades in the making. And what a great day. Today, the Pawtucket-Central Falls Transit Center is open for business. Very early this morning at 4:21, the first commuter train in over 40 years stopped in Pawtucket and Central Falls. 40 years, been a long journey, and many studies, conferences, administrations, coalitions speculated on how to bring back passenger rail to Pawtucket and Central Falls and hope for it to become a reality. That long journey has led us here to this site and this beautiful facility that we're opening today. In 2016, this project was kickstarted by a $13.1 million Tiger grant from the Federal Transit Administration. Our congressional delegation, most of whom are here with us today, were instrumental and vital in securing this grant and a total of more than $40 million in federal funds, about 2/3 the entire cost to build this center. The other vital 1/3 of funding came from the state by the governor, which is the key to using those federal funds and therefore the key to the front door of this new facility. And we owe each of them a huge debt of gratitude for that. I want to recognize our esteemed guests who will be speaking today. Governor Dan McKee, Senator Jack Reed, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Congressman David Cicilline, Congressman Seth Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos, Secretary of State Greg Amore, Treasurer and former Mayor of Central Falls James Diosa, Pawtucket Mayor Donald Grabian, Central Falls City Council President Bob Ferry, Peter Butler, Region 1 Regional Administrator for the Federal Transit Administration, Derek Torrey, the Rhode Island Division Administrator for the Federal Highway Administration, and Scott Avedisian, CEO of RIPTA. I'd also like to acknowledge other guests here: Senator Megan Kalman, Senator Robert Brito, Senator Jonathan Acosta, Representative Sherry Cruz, Representative Jennifer Stewart, Representative Karen Alzate, Representative Joshua Giraldo, Representative Leonella Felix, and Representative Brandon Veos. And I'd like to acknowledge and recognize and thank the many, many other partners who played a role, including Mayor Rivera of Central Falls, who couldn't be with us this morning, MBTA's top leadership, including Ryan Collahan and Chief Railroad Officer, and all of the many other people at MBTA who deliver the commuter rail service here every day. All our partners at Amtrak, including Amtrak Assistant Vice President of Infrastructure, Tom Moritz, Bob Billington of the Blackstone Valley Tourism Council, Jan Brody of the Pawtucket Foundation, and the list goes on and on. You can see by the turnout here today that the Transit Center is for everyone, and all of the people who played some role in it and wanted to be with us today. I thank you for that. I would be remiss if I did not thank one group of individuals who took the discussions, the visions, the hopes, the dreams, the grants, the finances, the site challenges, the innumerable regulatory and policy constraints, a global pandemic, and a resulting supply chain issues, and using their professional skills, have taken an idea, a concept, and crafted concrete and steel into this wonderful new facility. Will the design, build, and ride-out teams please stand? Come on, stand up. Come on. We all here today are grateful for your hard work and determination and what you've accomplished here. You all, everyone here, all of the participants, have planted a special seed here in the grounds of Pawtucket and Central Falls that'll grow and have many wonderful branches that will create jobs, economic growth, new development, provide more choices for travel for commuters, more efficient and safer travel, and a cleaner environment and better air quality as a result, and it will generally enhance the quality of life for all Rhode Islanders. I prepared more to say, but we've got a lot of people here today who want to tell you more about what this new transit center means for Rhode Island. And it's my pleasure to kick off our speaking program with a person who supported this project and many other transportation improvements throughout the state. And for the last 2 years has been the champion of this project, providing the necessary leadership to bring it to a successful completion. I'm so proud and happy to introduce our Governor, Dan McKee.
Thank you, Director, for your work here, and what a great moment to be here right in my home territory of the Blackstone Valley, supporting our Pawtucket and Central Falls with leadership here. Mayor Grebian, thank you so much for your leadership. Mayor Diosa, Central Falls leadership as well. I see Senator Crowley there. I know this was a big deal for her as well. So there was people that predated me that worked on this project. We helped get it over the finish line, but it took vision all the way back from Mayor Doyle, if you recall, right? So and during the time that I was a mayor of the town of Cumberland, I know how important the Broad Street corridor was. I know how important it was for us to make sure that this happened, and it has. And what a thrill. And I keep on saying Rhode Island has momentum like we've never seen before. Well, there's evidence of it here, right here in Pawtucket, Central Falls today. But we're not standing out here without the congressional delegation, and I keep on mentioning this every time I get to the microphone, not only for their leadership during pre-pandemic, but for their leadership during the pandemic. Senator Reid, Whitehouse, Congressman Cicilline, of course Langevin as well, and now Seth Magaziner. You got a tough act to follow, Seth, in those shoes, but I'm sure you'll be able to do it. But please, give them a round of applause. We are not here. We're not here at a new station right here in Pawtucket, Central Falls, Blackstone Valley, where I played basketball at John Street and Cross Street and Holy Trinity. And my God, I'm so proud to be standing here with so many people that know that the Blackstone Valley is a very important area in the state of Rhode Island. And I make sure that wherever I travel, I have the 39 cities and towns, the flags of those 39 cities and towns, because we say that every community is important to the state of Rhode Island. and the people that make up those communities are important. And that's what do we got here today. We got people that make up not only around the state of Rhode Island, but right here, right where the birth of the Industrial Revolution happened, right here in Rhode Island. And we're so proud of the fact that what this is going to mean to our states and our economy. And I mentioned that, this is our moment to shine, right? This is our turn. And this is just evidence of that. And yes, thank you. And this is going to play a role, and certainly I've said this publicly before, I am not turning my back on the city of Pawtucket or the city of Central Falls or the Blackstone Valley. And when people start coming into this station and head over to the new soccer stadium and all the results that are, development that's going to happen from there, and the multitude of economic investment that's going to happen right in this general area is only going to help raise our incomes, and we're going to double down on that education, and then we're going to make sure that we're a healthy state for Rhode Island. And this is what happens. This is what happens when we work to make sure that we invest in the people of the state of Rhode Island. And today, so Peter, Scott Avedisian, Scott, I think I put in the budget about $6 million for facilities that is going to be built here for as well last year. And thank you for the federal dollars that I was able to appropriate those. And also, I just recognize, the interim general manager, Jeffrey Garnaville, as well. But I think I covered everybody, so I'll let the speaking program go on. But I was asked, how was the trip from Providence to Pawtucket-Central Falls? I said it was nice and smooth. Thank you.
Well, certainly very instrumental in bringing, not only for this project, for a multitude of improvements to our transportation system, our congressional delegation, and our senior senator, Jack Reed.
Thank you very much, Director Alvidi, and I want to recognize obviously the governor and thank you for his leadership, Lieutenant Governor Matos, and my congressional colleagues. We've worked long and hard on this as a team. Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Cicilline, and Congressman Magaziner, thank you very much, and Congressman Langevin, who was also very active in this. A real shout out also goes to the city leaders, to Mayor Grevian. Thank you, Don. Mayor Rivera. I know Bob Ferry's here representing the city. And of course, I want to recognize also all of the men and women of RIPTA. You've done a superb job. You are the model of a state transportation department. Thank you so much. I also want to recognize, obviously, Treasurer Diosa and Secretary of State Amore. Thank you for your great efforts. And James was the mayor of Central Falls. He was a big part of this going forward. And I would be certainly remiss if I didn't recognize our federal partners, which are the Regional Administrator of the Federal Transit Agency, Peter Butler. Thank you, Peter. And Federal Highways Division Administrator, Derek Torrey. Thank you, Derek, for this. Thank you. It's been a long time coming, this project. I can remember 20 years ago walking with Mayor Jim Doyle through the old Central Falls Pawtucket station, wondering what we could do to revive it, what we could do to revive transit in the city of Pawtucket and Central Falls. And we started a process, a slow process. In fact, I think the first little step was a $235,000 federal grant we got for the city of Pawtucket to study the use of the old train station and the beginning of transit operations, or the renewal of transit operations in Pawtucket. And that was in 2004. And step by step, we are here today. It's taken a lot of determination, and over the last 19 years, working with my colleagues in the delegation, because nothing can be accomplished without the teamwork between Sheldon, David, Jim, and now Seth, we were able to secure $43 million in federal funding for the transit center. That's a good investment. It's a wise investment for the city, because this is not just about transit. This is about economic development. This transit center will spur development in Pawtucket and Central Falls. It'll lead to new businesses. It'll lead to new residential places all through these two cities. It's a key link to Boston. It will be a game changer when it comes to the economic environment for the state of Rhode Island and for the cities of Pawtucket and Central Falls. So it was well worth the effort, thinking back over 20 years, to start that process. And thank you very, very much. And now, Peter, should I introduce you?
Yes.
Okay. Now it's my great privilege to introduce my colleague, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who has just returned from the Ukraine. It's our popular destination to go, but thank him for his service to the nation and for his courage in going out there. Thank you.
Jack and I are both back from recent trips into Kiev, which you go in by an overnight train. And I have to tell you, the train ride that we were just on is a lot smoother than the train into Kiev. It is really exciting to be here, and I want to say, as a member of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, how very happy it is when we see wonderful public works like this come home to Rhode Island. I think this is going to be a game changer for lots of people in Rhode Island and a facility that will really make life better for folks. So I'm super excited about it. I want to particularly express my appreciation to Mayor Grebian and then Mayor, now Treasurer, and new dad, James Diossa. Don and James were absolutely relentless in pursuing this as mayors. Mayor Rivera has been just as relentless, and with the support of the McKee administration and the hard work of Peter Alvidi and his DOT team, we are here today. So I am very, very grateful to them. The delegation pulled together. I know Jim is not one of us any longer, but he had a very important role, and so I just want to make sure Jim Lancherman gets a good shout out here. There was a lot of different federal program work that went into this. There's a $3 million earmark that Jack and I got for development in the district around this to support the new station. There was a $13 million Tiger grant that went directly into supporting this station. We got $20 million in transportation program funding directly from the federal government to this. And with all that going on, I want to join Jack in thanking Peter Butler and Torrey, who is the new Carlos Machado here. And we look forward to continuing to work with them very, very successfully. There's going to be more. That's the final good news here. There is going to be more because Rhode Island got $2 billion minimum through the big bipartisan infrastructure bill. And as those funds flow and as Peter spends them, there's going to be more and more activity. In addition, a program that I built called the Infra Program now has $7 billion. That is a competitive grant program, but we've been very good about using it. Look at the 146 project, look at the Providence Viaduct, look at the big Newport Bridge grant. Those came through that, so Peter and the team have been excellent about taking advantage of that program, and there's $7 billion waiting out there for us to compete for. So this is a great day, but I hope it is also the beginning of even more great days. And with that, let me bring on another mayor, now senior member of our House delegation and member of House leadership, David Cicilline.
Good morning. I think this is the first press conference that I'm not the last member of the federal delegation to speak. So it's an exciting day for me too. But seriously, I am really thrilled to be here. I want to recognize all of my colleagues in government who have been acknowledged. I want to just add a couple, I think, who are also here. Councilwoman Lamas Vargas, former Mayor Mativia, who is here, Mayor De Silva, and Mayor Lombardi, who are also here. But I want to begin by saying thank you to former Mayor and now Treasurer Diossa and Mayor Grebian, who really developed this idea, I know, on the heels of a lot of work for many years and incredible community partners, but we're really passionate about pushing this idea. I remember the first meeting we had, I remember the first conversation on the phone we had, and they were really determined because they understood from the very beginning how transformative this rail station would be for both these communities and for our state. So I want to salute them both and thank them for their leadership. I want to thank Peter and Derek both. It's good to see you. We hope to see you many more times with money. Thank you for the investment here. But I'm also particularly proud to be part of a federal delegation that really understands the value of investments in infrastructure, and to have a governor of our state leading this work who understands, as a former mayor, what it means to a city or to two cities for this kind of investment to happen. It not only provides great transportation opportunities, but it really does spur, as Jack said, extraordinary economic development, investment in the community. It improves the quality of air, makes it easier for young people to think about relocating, or often looking for cities where they don't have to have a car, that they can get to work. So this is going to have an extraordinary impact on both of these communities and our state. It already is having that impact, just the news that this was being developed. So as Sheldon said, this is just the beginning. We worked hard to bring resources here to pass a bipartisan infrastructure bill, because we recognize that good infrastructure can be really life-changing. So congratulations to everyone who's been a part of this. I too want to acknowledge my former colleague, Congressman Langevin, who was a big part of this effort, and welcome to the podium our new colleague, who I know is going to be a relentless supporter of infrastructure investments in our state, Seth Magazine.
Good morning, everybody. A huge thank you to all of you for coming out. Thank you to my colleagues in government who are here. I will not run through the whole list, but I want to highlight my fellow members of the congressional delegation. Thank you for delivering the resources to make this transformational project possible. Governor McKee, state and local officials, thank you for your leadership and vision, our federal partners. I want to call out, though, two specific groups of people. The first, my successor, Treasurer Diosa, is also, more importantly, the partner of Senator Sandra Cano, and this is Sandra's first visit to a public event since the birth of their second child, Alessandro, so congratulations to both of you. My predecessor, Jim Langevin, who's not here, but who is leaving very big shoes to fill, and I'm committed to working very hard to continuing his work and legacy. And finally, a big thank you to the men and women who built this incredible station, who worked through the heat, through the cold, through the wind, through the rain. At events like this, it tends to be elected officials who claim most of the credit, and there's a place for that because it does take leadership and vision to make projects like this happen. But to the men and women who built this facility and projects all across the state, your work matters, and you have done something transformational here, so thank you to all of you. Now, before I was a member of Congress and before I was a state treasurer, I rode that commuter rail from Providence to Boston every day for about 4 years. I can tell you the trick is when you get on, you want to go up to the second level, and the corner single seats are the best ones to get because you can take a nap, and you also can be the first one off of the train before the crowd comes, so keep that in mind. But I can tell you from that experience, right, that everything that my colleagues have said is absolutely true. We would stop at all of these other stations along the way to Boston, right? Sharon, Mansfield, Canton Junction. It's still seared into my brain. And over the years, watching the development around the stations in those communities spring up was very tangible and very real. And that same effect is on the verge of happening here in Pawtucket and Central Falls. The more connectivity we have between Rhode Island and Boston, the better. It'll make it easier for people to live and work in either place and go back home to the other. It will make it easier for people to live close to public transportation, making it easier for us to reduce congestion and meet our environmental goals, and of course will be transformative economically throughout the whole region. So, to everyone who is involved in this, thank you. Let's keep this momentum going. There are many more good things to come, and it is my pleasure now to introduce someone else who gets it, who understands the importance of public infrastructure and public transit, our Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos.
Good morning. Buenos dias. The ride here from Providence was only 6 minutes, and I promise I'm going to be way shorter than that on my remarks. So I'm going to reserve the acknowledgement to the elected officials. We heard everyone, but like the governor, I have to acknowledge the federal delegation that we have because they bring resources to Rhode Island to make this possible. I also want to acknowledge the governor because, see, if you don't know, to bring federal funding here, it requires a match from the local government. And the governor understands how important that is and makes that a priority when he's developing the budget. So thank you for doing that. And finally, I have to acknowledge also my city council members. And if you don't mind, would you get out every council member that is here from Central Falls and from Pawtucket? Can you please stand up? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work, because I know everything started there. So I also want to remind everyone how great it is right now that we have the train station. But thanks to the leadership of Senator Coleman, Cano, and Rep. Alzate, and Acosta, and Senator Acosta, we also have the R line from RIPTA that is free right now. And you can take the train, take the bus, and make sure that we can take some cars out of our road. So thank you for your leadership on making that possible. And I have to, yes. One thing that I have to remind everyone that not community is a flyover. So what this train station means is that we're gonna have people coming to Pawtucket and to Central Falls and to learn about the history of Pawtucket and Central Falls and to get to know this community. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing happen, and how we can promote these communities throughout the state and outside of Rhode Island. I want to make sure also that we keep in mind that these communities, there's people, there are businesses that have been around here, and we have to be vigilant to make sure that they continue to be around here. So we have to continue supporting the local government to make sure that they're able to support the local businesses and residents that have been here all along, so they continue to enjoy these resources. And finally, it is truly my pleasure to bring forward our Secretary of State, Greg Amore, who is a history professor, teacher, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a lot to tell us about the history. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, and I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues in government who've been acknowledged already. And the Lieutenant Governor is correct. In the not too distant past, on a Monday morning at 10 o'clock, I would have been teaching a civics class. And what a great civics class this is. I would have had a Venn diagram going, connecting the 3 levels of government and the funding. It is a perfect example of how so many factors come into place and work together. You know, I was happy to play a small part of this as a member of the House of Representatives for a long period of time, and as a member of the Finance Committee. But this is an effort that makes an impact in so many areas, the hot button areas that we talk about today. It makes an impact in housing. It makes an impact on our environment. It makes an impact on jobs. And I'd like to acknowledge the hard working men and women of organized labor who are involved in so many aspects of this project. It has an impact on economic development. This is government working well. And we should highlight that as we're doing today, because we certainly highlight when government does not work well. So today we see an effort that has been years in the making that will improve the lives of Rhode Islanders. So it's a great day for Pawtucket, it's a great day for Central Falls, but it's a great day for Rhode Island as well. It is now my honor to introduce our treasurer, the former mayor of Central Falls, who had a lot to do with us being here today, James Diosa.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. It's fantastic to be standing here at the inauguration of the Pawtucket-Central Falls Transit Center. From the moment I became mayor of Central Falls, it became my mission to establish an equitable transportation system for residents of the Blackstone Valley, and years later, here we are. When the Blackstone Valley formed, it became the home of an economic boom. It is the home of the Industrial Revolution. Yet, as years went by, economic development came to a halt. This transportation hub will improve community health by revitalizing mills in the area, creating housing opportunities, improving education outcomes, and spurring economic growth, all while cultivating civic pride. As I look around the room, and I want to extend a thank you to everyone who made this possible, there are several individuals here who were key leaders in making sure this project came to a fruition. That includes our congressional delegation, Senator Reid, Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Cicilline, Congressman Langevin, who secured over $40 million in federal funding for this project. I also want to acknowledge my former staff in Central Falls who played an instrumental role in making sure that we stayed on track with this project. And that is our city planner, Tom Deller, and our solicitor at the time, Matt Jersey. I also want to thank Michael Sabatoni, who, when we brought this project to him in its infancy stages, he was right on board with this project and understood the importance of it. But the real acknowledgement I want to give is to my double trouble, my brother from another mother, my Batman, I'm Robin, and that is the mayor of Pawtucket, Don Grebian. When Mayor Grebian and I first looked on this project, we spent time brainstorming how we could make our two cities major players in the economic revival of Rhode Island. That brainstorm turned into hours of planning of development for this center, and ultimately seeing it come to life. We made sure that the train did not leave the station without bettering our communities. As your treasurer, I look forward to continue to collaborate with both Mayor Grebian, Mayor Rivera, and all of you here today on how we can keep inspiring economic growth here and throughout the entire state of Rhode Island. Thank you, and let's ride this train at the Pawtucket-Central Falls train station. I'd like now to introduce someone who's big, not only in size, but big deal for the revitalize of Pawtucket. And it is my friend, Mayor Grebian.
I got a couple for him in my comments too, so don't worry. But first of all, good morning. And I know I'm one of many speakers, and you've heard a lot, but there are a lot of thank yous that I need to share. And if I do miss anybody, I apologize, but this has been a long time coming. This is an exciting day and one that's been a long time coming, as I stated. It all started with an idea, and I want to, there's different variations of it, so if I'm wrong on this variation, I apologize, but retired Pawtucket City Council and DPW Director under the Doyle administration, Jack Conner. He sat with Mayor Doyle, the Pawtucket Foundation, and had an idea that was driven for years. I know we invited Jack. I don't know if he's here, but I want to recognize and thank him, his contributions during the Doyle administration. Because without that, we wouldn't be here today. I'd also like to start by thanking Senator Reed for his support from day one, whether it was from the Tiger Grant to the meetings that we had. Also, Governor McKee, Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Cicilline, former Governor Raimondo, former Congressman Langevin, Speaker Sakachi, and Senate President Ruggiero, and RIPTA CEO Scott Avedisian for your leadership and commitment for getting it done. I'd also like to thank Congressman Magazine, I'm still getting used to saying that, Congressman, Lieutenant Governor Matos, and Secretary Amori for being here today and great allies to Pawtucket and the Blackstone Valley. Unfortunately, my favorite mayor from Central Falls, Mayor Rivera, could not be here today. But I would like to recognize her and her team as well. Her predecessor, now Treasurer, Jim Diosa, AKA my younger brother, and I worked closely together and were able to stand here ready to christen this transit hub. I must recognize members of the General Assembly representing Pawtucket and Central Falls, members of the city councils, both on the Pawtucket and Central Falls, current, previous, for their hard work and funding and support to the station. I'd also like to recognize Council President Mercer, who's here today, former Mayor Rob Mativia, and I'd like the elected officials, both past and present, to stand so I don't recognize you by name, but stand up because you are all part of this, and that talks about the collaboration over the years. I'd also be remiss if I didn't thank a few people who work tirelessly. Folks in my office, also the current Director of Commerce, Sandra Kane, who was also a senator, former Commerce Director Gene Boyle, as well as the entire Planning and Commerce team. President of the Pawtucket Foundation, led by Jan Brody. Also, they flew in Rich Davis, who was instrumental as well. The Blackstone Valley Tourism Council, led by Bob Billington. The Pawtucket Redevelopment Agency, the Pawtucket Planning Commission, and other community partners. So I want to thank Rich for being here, Jack, and I know Dan is here as well. Thank you for all that you've done to drive this project. And if I missed anybody, I do apologize. And last but not least, I want to recognize DOT Director Peter Alvidi and his team, as long as MBTA. We duke it out all the time. We both have high energy, but Director, thank you for everything. It was your leadership in getting this done. So thank you, and give him and his work a good warm welcome. And I think there is also Alana Westwater and Sherry Warrington for MBTA, because it is a true partnership. And to the others, thank you. So now just quickly, a couple words. Today is so many different things. It's about more than opening a brand new train station or a transit hub. It is about transforming the transformation that is taking place here in Pawtucket and in Central Falls, and as the governor mentioned in his leadership, the Blackstone Valley. It's an example of an incredible federal and state delegation collaborating with not only transforming cities of Pawtucket and Central Falls, but also serves as an important gateway here in Rhode Island. It's about connecting our residents to Providence and Bossing and introducing those residents to us. While I enjoy visiting both of those cities, Pawtucket and CF are where things are happening. It's whether the soccer complex with surrounding retail development, building the state-of-the-art high school, the development is happening. These are where it's happening, and this is where the rubber hits the road. It's also about 150-acre transit-oriented developed district that spans over 2 cities, 4 million square feet of developable opportunity. Business and developers are already recognizing and investing in the new transit hub in the area, and will provide easy and desirable access to affordable development and rental costs. I know some of those developers here. I saw Lance Roberts, others. Please stand up, and thank you for your commitment. Years that we started when nobody else would. So thank you, and give them a round of applause as well. It's also about attracting new business, but protecting our small businesses who are here in Pawtucket and Central Falls. Once again, I'm so excited to be here. I'm proud of all the work that everybody has done, and every one of you in this room has played a role somewhere down the line. Thank you. I appreciate that. All of your support. Give yourselves a round of applause. And with that, I have the pleasure of introducing Central Falls City Council President Bob Ferry for a few words. Bob?
I wasn't prepared to speak today, but people say, well, you're never lost for words. But I'm kind of exhausted from that 15-minute ride from Providence. You know, it was good to hear, I kept hearing the word game changer. Well, I'm a big baseball fan, and it's good to know that this train will be going to Boston. Therefore, my wife don't know it, but I'll be attending more baseball games this year. But I want to thank everyone for being here. If you're not from Central Falls or Pawtucket, please take the train, come visit us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pete Butler, the Regional Administrator with FTA. On behalf of Secretary Buttigieg and FTA Administrator Fernandez, I am so very excited to be here with you to celebrate the opening of this amazing new transit center. As a result of your federal delegation support of the bipartisan infrastructure law, FTA is well positioned to continue to make the necessary investments to support more projects like this one. At FTA, we will never lose sight of the potential of FTA programs to benefit all Americans. We will promote equity by connecting more people in underserved communities. Achieving equity by reconnecting communities is a major policy objective of the Biden-Harris administration. Under the leadership of Governor McKee, Director Alvidi, and RIPTA CEO Avedisian, Rhode Island has been leading the way in reconnecting communities, whether it be through partnerships with faith communities to provide fare-free service in Newport, a public-private partnership to provide transit service for the unhoused, and now this brand new bus hub and rail station. We have always innovated in America, and we have always looked to the next horizon. Today, Rhode Island is planning the innovations that will transform our transportation system while protecting our air, our water, and our shared future. At FTA, it is our job to shepherd that innovation, to help you fund the next steps forward, and to celebrate the future you will build for all of us. In closing, I'd just like to take a moment to recognize my amazing colleagues at the Region 1 office who helped bring this project to fruition: Michelle Daigle, Alex Hammond, and Ryan Bartlett. Thank you all so very much. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Rhode Island's Federal Highway Division Administrator, Derek Torrey. Derek?
Good morning. Thank you, Peter. I'm so glad to be joining you all today. My name is Derek Torrey. I'm the new Division Administrator for Rhode Island for the Federal Highway Administration. So as the Senator said, I should introduce myself as Carlos Machado's replacement. Everyone will know that. I bring congratulations to you on behalf of the Federal Highway Administrator, Sheldon. There's not much I can say that hasn't already been said here about this project, but multimodal transportation options are so critical to helping people access jobs and opportunities, spur economic development. This project here is a poster child for what this funding can do. We at the U.S. Department of Transportation, we're so glad to be able to support RIDOT and RIPTA and their partners to make this a reality. I've said to several people here that Rhode Island has been extraordinarily successful at obtaining federal funds. You really punch above your weight in terms of getting funding from competitive grant programs such as USDOT's Tiger program, the Infra program, etc. And that is really due in part to the partnership that is on display here today. The leadership of Director Alvidi at RIDOT, the vision of Governor McKee, and of course a tremendous support from the congressional delegation, Senators Reid and Whitehouse, Congressmen Cicilline, Magaziner, former Congressman Landry, and of course the local elected officials. The partnership is what really brings everything together and enables this to happen. So you all should be so proud of where you are and what this is. My congratulations to everyone who has worked so hard to get this done. The Federal Highway Administration looks forward to being a close partner with RIDOT and with the help of the federal delegation continuing to bring the dollars back to Rhode Island. So thank you all, and now it's my honor to introduce your last speaker, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority, Scott Avedisian.
Thank you, Derek. As Derek mentioned, I am the last of the 14 speakers, so I will be very brief. But let me first by saying I apologize for being a few minutes late. The bus from Elmwood Avenue to Kennedy Plaza was right on time, and we were just a little delayed getting the bus out of Kennedy Plaza to get here. So we pulled up right when the speaking program began. But let me thank everybody who was on this stage. Each and every one of you have played an incredible role in making this happen. And I think back to the first conversations with Mayors Brebian and Diosa, and standing on this site and looking around and saying, is this ever going to work? And the vision that people had to make this happen is incredible. And thank you for all sticking with it for so long and never giving up, because the proof is in the pudding. And Director Alvidi, it's a great, great project. Everything looks fantastic. We look forward to the next phase of the project, which will be the creation of our passenger amenities building. And thank you, Governor, for the money to be able to do that. Let me give you a couple ideas of what this will mean for riders. First and foremost, we have looked at a marketing campaign to get people to make sure that they are taking this service and using it. So for the next 6 months, if you have an MBTA card, our marketing program will allow you to ride the bus for free to get here, to access all the different places that you can go from here. And I just want you to know that one of the most interesting things is when you start talking about routes and how we're going to move things around and moving service onto this site. As of today, Service from this new transit center will allow people in communities such as Central Falls, Cranston, Cumberland, Lincoln, East Providence, North Kingstown, Quonset Point, Warwick, North Providence, and Providence to all be able to take buses from their communities here to get on the train to go to Boston, either for work or for pleasure. And one of the other really good connections here is that one of the stops is at TF Green State Airport, which creates yet another intermodal connection. And when we talk about allowing people to be able to move effortlessly and to be able to take transit from one location to the next, that's what it's all about. So again, great big thank you to everybody on the stage for all of your hard work over many years to make this happen. I also want to make mention that we have two board members who are here, Patrick Crowley and Jen Leach, and our union president, Nick DeCristofaro. They were smarter than I was. They drove here probably. So, but again, it was a wonderful, wonderful day, a brand new beginning for the cities of Pawtucket and Central Falls.
Last but not least, I'd like all of you to take a look around this room. There are literally hundreds of people here, and almost every one of you had something to nudge us closer and closer over the last couple of decades to having this realization today. And I want you all to give yourselves a big round of applause for the work that you've done.